So Danilo Gallinari is rumored to be a trade target for the Los Angeles Lakers. Doesn't really make sense to me outside of one reason, and we'll get into that reason here in a moment. But Danilo himself, he is currently on the Detroit Pistons. And look, the Detroit Pistons are really odd, right? They need to, they're a team that wants to be and wants to get veterans, but they aren't willing to sell this season, it looks like, even though they're not winning anything. And it's the smart thing to do would be to trade Bojan, trade Alec Burke, and just move on. And then in the offseason, go get veterans, go get pieces, go get guys that make sense. I don't know. It's the Pistons. I mean, look, the Pistons aren't the best organization that there is, and are in many ways in the position that they're in because of their poor decision making. I understand wanting veterans, but if you were a team that was at least, like the Rockets, right, where they're middle of the pack, then sure, keep your vets, right? But anyway, about the Lakers, it just frustrates me because it's just I'm not even saying trade them to the Lakers, right? I'm saying period. You should be trading. There's teams that are actively trying to get Alec Burke and Bojan Bogdanovic. Trade them. Get rid of them. But nonetheless, Danilo Gallinari is a guy that apparently they would be willing to move. That makes sense. I mean, he's 35 years old. They kind of got him in a trade from the Wizards that was just kind of like a throw-in and just to kind of move off things for the Wizards. But as far as his production this season, because that's the real question, he played power forward strictly for the Washington Wizards in 26 games. He averaged 15 minutes per game. In that time, he was averaging 7 points, 3 rebounds, and 1.5 assists. He was shooting 84% from the foul line, 55.2% from 2-point range on 2.6 attempts. He had an EFG of 51.1% and was shooting on 2.5 attempts, 31.3% from Washington. But if you look at Detroit, he's played 5 games for Detroit as a small forward, has averaged 16 minutes a game, so 1 minute more. He has made the same amount of attempts on fewer shot attempts, but here's the thing. He's averaging 10 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. He's shooting 88% from the foul line. He has an EFG of 69%. He is shooting from 2-point range 44.4% compared to with Washington 55.2%, but he's also taking 1 attempt less from 2-point range and shooting just as much from 3-point range. With the Detroit Pistons on 2.5 attempts, he is shooting 58.3%. 58.3% from 3-point range. Now, it's not a huge sample size, obviously. That's, 5 games. But, I mean, if he could get anything close to that with the Lakers, watch out. His versatility and his veteranness would be valuable. Don't get me wrong. His ability to play small forward, power forward. I mean, even shooting guard. He's played shooting guard at times in his career. I mean, when he was drafted with the Knicks, he was a shooting guard. So this is a guy that has played, basically, he can play the 2 through 4, which is valuable. He's 6'10", so he's got good size, good length. And he's not a traditional big man, right? He's more of that stretch big. And there was a time where he was a very valuable commodity in this league. But I do think he still would be a guy that could come in and maybe have some impact. I just don't get why he'd be a target outside of Gabe Vincent. So this is the only thing that really makes sense to me, is if the Lakers were to trade, because the Lakers want to get off of Gabe Vincent's contract. He's supposed to return in early March, is the reports. But there's a lot of questions of if he comes back, is he going to be good? Is it going to take him a year? Does this become a persistent injury? All those issues, right? So they want to get off of his contract, basically take on salary or expiring salary. So that way they could basically get a new guy in his position come the offseason. Well, Detroit, they want veteran players. The Lakers want guys that can just be out there on the court, right? Gallinari giving you 7 points a game is more than what Gabe Vincent is giving you right now. So I get it, right? If you could basically flip Gabe Vincent into Gallinari, I know that's not the big sexy move that people would be excited for, right? And I know there's going to be a lot of people that are like, why didn't the Lakers trade Gabe Vincent for X player or Y player? Because Gabe Vincent doesn't have any value. Like, what team wants to trade for a player that may never, like, for all we know, may never be able to play again, right? Like, again, it's a routine injury, but look at, like, Kendrick Nunn went through the same thing, right? So it's just, how many teams are lining up to take on a guy that has 3 years on his deal? Yes, it's a reasonable contract at $11 million, but still, how many teams are looking to sign up for that and give up a valuable player, right? Any team that's going to take on Gabe Vincent, there's going to be incentive for them, whether it's through draft compensation, which Lakers are extremely limited in, or they actually want a guy like a Gabe Vincent, which Detroit, what do they want? They want more veteran guys. They want guys that can come in and kind of be mentors, play in spots, kind of go the Houston route. But with Gabe Vincent, you'd get that veteran that you don't have to overpay, right? Like, you're not paying him $40 million like Fred VanVleet or anything like that, right? So Gabe Vincent is a guy that come in, you add him to like your roster core. If he comes back and he plays, great. If not, like, you're not winning championships or anything like that by the time his contract is up anyway. So the idea would be like, okay, we basically just swap Gabe Vincent for Gallinari because Detroit can do that. The Lakers would actually save some money on the caps for buyout targets, stuff like that. The Detroit Pistons, they get a guy in Gabe Vincent who they want as a veteran, and then maybe they get like a second round pick or something like that for doing the favor. Lakers get Gallinari, who they can keep the rest of the season, have him as just like a body on the roster, give him a couple opportunities, see if he is production. I mean, his three-point shooting next to LeBron, next to AD, all that stuff would be very valuable. Guy that can play the three, guy that can play the four, give you a veteran guy that's been there, done that. I do think it makes sense in that regard because the Lakers clear cap space, and not only do they clear cap space, but now they can use their exceptions in the offseason, right, to maybe go get a guy. Right? Maybe it is a Miles Bridges. Maybe they go and they trade for a Miles Bridges, and now it's like, okay, well, now we got off of Gabe Vincent's contract. We got Miles Bridges. Now we can actually give him $13 million a year or whatever next season, which maybe he'll stick around for. Or maybe, if DeMar DeRozan becomes a free agent, maybe LeBron takes less money to get DeMar, and now you're giving DeMar like $18 million a year or $15 million a year compared to like you wouldn't be able to give him anything, so he's a loss. So there is value in that regard. From a Gallinari standpoint, right? I mean, you're going from a Detroit team to a Lakers team. I do think he would have some value on this team. My concern is that Darvin Ham would play him like 30 minutes a game, which that I don't want to see happen. But Gallinari in like a limited role, 10 to 15 minutes here and there, as just basically a spot-up three-point shooter, a guy that you have in the corner, a guy that has some size, some length, could help a little bit on the boards, could help a little bit out on the perimeter just to put some size on him. Obviously, he's not like the defensive guy. I mean, he never was really like this great defensive player, but he's not the defensive player that, the serviceable one that he was back then. But he's still a good IQ guy that can come in, play a role, right? Hit some three-point shots. He's not like, he's bad defensively, but he's not like ridiculously unplayable defensively, but he is a guy that, you're not looking for him to lock down. You're looking for him to basically just be Taurean Prince, but at 6'10", right? Where it's like, can you just be serviceable? Can you just hold your own a little bit? At least funnel your guy to Anthony Davis, but hit like 2 or 3 threes a game. That would be beautiful, right? Okay, I get it. You get off of Gabe Vincent, you get a 6'10" guy that can shoot, that can make plays, that can rebound, that can do a little bit of everything. He's a veteran guy at 35 years old. You can trust him. You can rely on him. He's not going to cause any problems. He's not going to cause any issues, right? That I can see. I can get, right? And it's not that long ago that Gallinari was a real, was looked at as like, oh, this is a guy that can come in and really kind of be a big impact player for the right team. I mean, look, if he comes in and he averages 7.5 points per game, again, that's more than what Gabe Vincent's providing right now. So far this season, he is averaging 7.5 points, 3 rebounds, and 1.3 assists. Give me that. I would gladly take that. Off the bench, in a bench role, Give me that. Again, what are other options currently on this roster? And look, it's not that far removed where this guy was like a 15 to 18 point a game guy. When he ends up going to like Atlanta, it was like, oh, that's a big move. So again, it just depends on how it plays out, what it is. Like when he went to Boston, people were excited. Oh, this is the move that they needed. And that was, a year and a half ago, whatever it was. So again, this is a guy that I do believe can make a real impact. This is a guy that I do think could be a significant guy in the rotation. Again, I'm not saying you go get Gallinari and all of a sudden Lakers are a contender. That's not what I'm saying at all. But as a guy that can come in, provide some stability, hit some shots, right? Provide, be an upgrade in some areas, right? Shooting primarily. I do see some value in that. And then on top of that, you get off of Gabe Vincent's contract. So now you don't have to worry about that financial burden. Now you get to free up some cap space for this season, get you under the aprons, get some guys in the buyout market, and then also in the offseason gives you some flexibility to maybe go get some real players to add in and just kind of give you another chance at that Gabe Vincent role or, another role, whether it's a wing player, a borderline star guy, like DeMar DeRozan. How much is DeMar DeRozan going to get? He's making like $25 million this year. Is any team really going to offer him $25 million a year as a 35-year-old at that point? Probably not, right? But maybe a team offers him say 18. Would he come to the Lakers for 15? Right? Like, hey, we can't give you 18, but would you take 15? Or 13? Right? Maybe to play for his hometown, take the hometown discount. Like, again, it's just a thought, just an option thrown out there. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you like the idea of Gallinari if it means getting off of Gabe Vincent's contract? Do you like the idea of Gallinari, period? Or do you think, nah, he's a guy, stay away from, go try to find something better? I'm hoping that this isn't the only move, right? I'm hoping that, there's more to come with this team. But, if this is one of the moves, right, and no one's really willing to take Gabe Vincent, and it's like, okay, we can't get off of Gabe Vincent, the only way we can is to go get Gallinari, then fine, go get Gallinari, right? It's a win-win. But anyway, again, how you feel, what your thoughts are? I would love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.